Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Should You Play, where I show you some spoiler-free gameplay and give you my thoughts after playing new games for a few hours, while also highlighting and checking out at least one of the PlayStation Plus games for each month. In this video I'm playing Ghost of Yotei, the long-anticipated sequel to Sucker Punch's beloved Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima is one of the few games I consider to be a must-play for PlayStation owners. It excelled in basically every aspect that a game can. The story, writing, combat, exploration, graphics, and of course it was just an incredibly enjoyable experience. Now Ghost of Yotei loses a bit of the punch that Tsushima had because people pretty much already know what they're getting into, but Atsu offers a journey that's just as enjoyable as Jin's, even if there are some changes here and there, so let's just talk about it.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Instead of following Jin from Tsushima, Ghost of Yotei introduces a new protagonist in a new region and a new time period. The game immediately opens up with a cutscene where Atsu, our new protagonist, is forced to watch her family get cut down and is left for dead by the Yotei 6, but she manages to survive, trains as a warrior for 16 years, and makes her way back home to avenge her family.
Every member of the Yotei 6 will suffer.
Right from the start, it's clear that Atsu is a very different type of protagonist compared to Jin, because she's not afraid to fight dirty and has a lot more confidence in herself and her abilities, even if she does still have a lot to learn. The pacing here is also very different, as after getting through a prologue that's about 15 minutes long, the game opens up almost entirely, allowing you to chase down the Yotei 6 in any order that you'd like.
They're worth looking for.
It offers a refreshing amount of freedom, and while the main narrative is maybe just slightly weaker than Tsushima's, the side missions honestly feel better this time around, with every optional event I've played so far having genuinely interested me, something that wasn't always the case in the last game. Just like in Ghost of Tsushima, Ghost of Yotei will have you spend most of your time exploring, fighting, and interacting with ronins, samurai, merchants, and villagers. There are some light platforming sections and even moments where you can revisit Atsu's past, which helps flesh out her backstory, but for the most part you'll be exploring the world. Horseback riding is smooth, whether you're boosting across the countryside or just trotting through villages, and you can set up camp nearly anywhere in the open world, allowing you to rest, cook, craft ammo, and even meet with traveling vendors or wanderers, which helps the world feel more dynamic.
Any chance you're looking for some quality goods?
As you make your way to main objectives, you'll naturally run into a lot of distractions as well. Sometimes it'll be a golden bird leading you to a wolf den, or maybe even a ronin who wants to try to turn in your bounty, but none of them ever felt like chores, and I always welcomed them when they showed up.
Killing you just gets me plenty moans worth of sake and women.
Some returning features have been mixed up as well, with Jin's flute being replaced by Atsu's shamisen and haikus being replaced by painting, but some other features like hot springs and shrines are still present, and overall the progression never felt grindy.
Let us take a moment to reflect on who we are.
Some sequences also make use of the touchpad and motion controls, which is something that Sucker Punch tends to take advantage of, but if you're like me and aren't a fan of the mechanics, you can always just skip right through them to move on.
I've had worse.
Combat, of course, is one of Ghost of Yotei's highlights. It's smooth, responsive, and challenging without being unfair, all while being accessible to newcomers and offering enough strategy for more experienced players.
I feel like one big bruise.
There are 5 difficulty settings you can switch between at nearly any time, ranging from casual to lethal, and you can even tweak settings like enemy aggression and damage in a custom difficulty setting. Unlike Jin Sakai, Atsu doesn't use sword stances and instead switches between weapons such as her katana, kusarigama, or a bow, depending on the situation.
A sword can do much, but a bow gives you the upper hand.
You also have access to charms, which can give you specific buffs, as well as armor sets, weapon upgrades, and a fairly comprehensive skill tree to strengthen yourself as a warrior. Enemies are generally competent and aggressive enough to keep you on your toes, sometimes even disarming you during battle, and they'll use a variety of weaponry, forcing you to learn a light rock, paper, scissors order in order to get the upper hand in encounters.
If you meet a foe with only a sword, it's best to draw your own sword.
Standoffs were one of my favorite elements from Ghost of Tsushima, and they're back again, allowing you to take out an enemy or two before bigger fights start, and while stealth is technically an option, it's definitely not as strong as direct combat is until you start unlocking more tools and skills later on. One of the best new touches is your wolf companion though. At first it shows up at random, but as you invest in its skill tree and progress through the game, it becomes an incredibly reliable ally, keeping enemies distracted or even saving your life at the last second. It goes without saying, but Ghost of Yotei is stunning with regard to every aspect of its presentation.
That's what Father used to say.
I hate the cliche, but it's genuinely one of those games where you could pause at any time, go into photo mode, and turn the image into a painting worthy of being up on the wall. Environments are lush, cinematic, and feel alive, and there are a few different modes to mix things up if you're interested, including Kurosawa mode, which applies a black and white filter, Miike mode, which adds more blood and mud, and even a Watanabe mode where you can enjoy some lo-fi tracks while exploring the world. The HUD is again minimal, letting you really immerse yourself within the world and use the wind to guide you rather than a minimap, and the camera angles often shift distance and perspective to show off cinematic sights, whether it's mid-battle or when you reach a vista with a view. Voice acting between the English and Japanese options are both great across the board, and the game actually has lip syncing for both languages, so it'll look natural regardless of which one you pick.
It will become as natural as breathing.
Sound design has also been well implemented so far, and the music stands out as well, offering a really great mix of cinematic, ambient, and even vocal tracks, on top of some in-game music that you may run across. A few of the NPC faces can come across as stiff or bland outside of cutscenes, but that's just a minor nitpick compared to how incredible the game looks and sounds on a regular basis.
Fair enough.
As far as overall performance goes, this is probably the most polished big-budget game that I've played on release day in quite a while.
That can't be right.
That said, I did of course run into a handful of very minor issues. A couple of clipping issues of costumes and defeated enemies, one set of enemies not reacting to being headshot, one shadow popping out, one character model popping in, and one single instance of an NPC struggling to navigate themselves out of an aerospace. Aside from that though, that's it. No crashes, no frame drops, and no game-breaking issues of any kind. Sucker Punch has had a pretty great track record with releasing quality content over the years, and Ghost of Yotei is no exception to that.
Practice is practice.
At the end of the day, Ghost of Yotei is fantastic, and Sucker Punch has done a phenomenal job with it.
Sounds like nothing's changed.
The story is solid, Atsu is a great new protagonist, the side quests are engaging, the combat feels fluid and rewarding, and of course, the world is both beautiful and alive. Your wolf companion, the variety of presentation modes, and the non-linear structure make it all feel like a natural evolution of everything players love from Ghost of Tsushima without losing anything that made the game special.
You're still with me?
There are some very minor technical hiccups here and there, and the stealth could have been a bit stronger in the early game sections, but overall it feels like an additive sequel because it builds on what already worked, layers on more content without weighing it down, and just keeps getting better the more you play it. If you loved Ghost of Tsushima, you're probably going to love Ghost of Yotei, and I'd honestly go so far as to say that's another must-play game for PlayStation owners as well. So I'm gonna stop talking right here so I can jump right back into Atsu's story myself.
If you die, try to go out dramatically. Makes for a better story.
As always though, this is just my opinion. Whether you're just starting to plot out your revenge, or you're already actively hunting down the Yotei 6, let me know in the comments what you think of Ghost of Yotei.
We learn something from every person we meet.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
Running like a coward.